do I start? Hey guys, it's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel. So you may have noticed that I've been a little bit MIA on here recently, and there's good reasons for that. But yes, as you may have guessed from the title of this video, I am pregnant. There is a little human in my belly, a little baby. So this is a bit of a long story, and truthfully, this is not entirely how I envisaged announcing this. Basically the reason for that is because I've actually had a pretty tough pregnancy so far, and so when I initially was planning to make this big announcement and everything, I kind of had it planned in my head that'd be this really exciting moment, and you know, I couldn't wait to share the news, etc. And the truth is that's not how I felt, because I've had such a tricky pregnancy. I've kind of wanted to pretend the whole thing isn't happening. So all my plans and expectations for how my pregnancy was going to go, or the things that I was planning to do while I was pregnant, have sort of gone out the window. I'm not going to go over all the details of everything that's happened in this video because A, there's a lot, and B, I've pretty much filmed the whole thing. So you're going to see, I'm going to start releasing the new kind of series of my journey to motherhood over the next coming weeks, so you'll be able to sort of watch it right from the beginning and see what happened, etc. there. But yeah, it has been really tough, and essentially a lot of the symptoms from pregnancy, my brain hasn't been able to differentiate between the fact that I'm going through that because I'm pregnant and not because I'm ill. But I have been really quite sick recently, and actually those of you who followed me for a while may notice this background, and if you've been a follower for a long time, you may know that this background is actually a room in my parents' house. It's my mother's music room, and that's because I am currently staying with my parents because I have been really unwell, and they have been just amazing, and I'm so lucky to have such supportive family around me, and it has made all the difference. But it has also been very difficult because I've essentially sort of lost my independence again, and that's been really tricky to deal with. But to kind of cover all the basics in this video, yes, I am pregnant. I'm actually 14 weeks today, although my baby's measuring a little bit bigger, I think 2 days ahead. So my current due date is the 23rd of February 2023. It was planned, definitely very planned to have this baby. And no, I don't have a partner. So I did this on my own, and the route that I chose to go down was to have a baby using a sperm donor. So I filmed a series called My Journey to Solo Motherhood, which basically kind of covers the whole process of how this happened. Everything from like the first phone call to my GP to having IUIs done, etc. Testing, all of it really. So that is all to come, so I'm not going to go into like lots of detail about that on here, but what I will cover in this video is how I kind of came to the decision to do this. So this whole journey really starts back when I was around, actually probably in my late teens, to be honest. Not that I realised it, but the time that it became a solid possibility for me was when I was around 20. So at age 20, two pretty significant things happened in my life. One was that I was finally diagnosed with adenomyosis. It's a condition that affects my uterus. I've been having painful periods since I was about 15. I went to a private gynecologist who was finally able to diagnose me. He did the right scan, everything. And he diagnosed me with adenomyosis, which means that the lining of my uterus has grown into the muscular walls of my uterus, and that makes them quite bulky. They fill up with blood each month, but there's nowhere for it to go, and so when your uterus contracts, it's very painful, basically. Now, he told me at that time that this was a condition that typically, there's no cure for adenomyosis. It's a condition that gets progressively worse, and a lot of people who have this condition, a lot of women that have this condition, tend to end up having a hysterectomy somewhere down the line. But because it's also a progressive disease, there is a chance that it could have a significant impact on my fertility, particularly the older I got. So that was the first thing that happened, that I was kind of like, okay, my fertility is not going to last as long as maybe some people's will. The second significant thing that happened when I was 20 is I finally figured out that I was on the asexual spectrum. Basically all that means is that I very rarely fancy anybody of any gender. I do identify as straight, and I do occasionally find guys attractive, but it's so rare that it's made dating really difficult, because just because you find someone attractive doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to have a connection with them, or that you're going to be a suitable match, etc. So it has, you know, and I'm just not that generally interested in dating. Like I'm very happy being single and being on my own. As much as I would like a life partner, I think at some point, it's not something I'm in a rush to get in. So those are the two sort of significant factors at 20 that happened that made me start thinking a lot more seriously about having a baby on my own using a sperm donor. I'd known about like people having babies through sperm donation for quite some time. I can't tell you like when I first knew that was a possibility, but it would have been in my teens, I reckon. But actually for me, seriously considering it as something I could do, that didn't happen until I was 20. And I think I was at that point thinking, okay, well, when I get to 23, if I still haven't met somebody, that's when I'm gonna start really seriously looking into it and doing like more research, but I'm just gonna have it as an option further down the road. Obviously I got to 23, hadn't met anyone, and I started like dipping my toe in the water every now and then. I didn't just suddenly switch and go, right, let's go and do all this research. It was just like I kept going back to it, looking up more information about it, how it was done, etc. There's a really good website in the UK called the HFEA, which is the Human Fertilisation and Embryology Association, I think. It's like the regulatory body that monitors all the fertility treatment in the UK, basically. So I was doing more and more research on this and kind of kept going back to it, kept looking at it again and again. And then it wasn't until I was 24, and I can tell you exactly when it was mid-September last year, that I was looking on the website and something just clicked in my brain and I went, I want to do this. It's funny because I was actually fostering a very, very little one at the time. And I remember I made that decision and we were going away to Scotland the next week with my mum. It was like the first trip we'd been on post-COVID, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to her about it when we go to Scotland. So I had like a week to mull it over, but I was really excited to tell her and everything. And she was not surprised at all. I think I've been talking about it for some time leading up to this, but this was when I was like, actually, yeah, I want to do this. And at that point I had said, I want to do this when I'm 25. I'm going to start the process when I'm 25, so have this extra bit of a year just to do what I want and then go off and do that. But it was that moment in sort of mid-September when I was 24 that I actually made the decision that this is what I wanted to do. So I told my mum in like late September, and then we kind of spoke about it a bit, and then I decided to tell my dad a little bit later. We were going away to Gran Canaria in October time, I think. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to him about it on the holiday. And actually I decided to, I said to my mum, could you have a conversation with him about it? And they were both really supportive, both really on board. I think because they knew about my asexuality and my fertility things, and I've always wanted children, they knew that. So I think it kind of made sense to them as well. So they were very supportive too and kind of agreed, yeah, let's do it. And so they were really like the most important part for me, because my parents are my main support network, and I knew for a fact that I could not go through and do this unless I had their support, because I rely on them for, you know, helping me out sometimes, and even when I've been fostering, they've been my support network. And I was like, I can't do this unless they're on board and that they're supportive about this and that they're happy to go ahead with this. Because they were, that made it so much easier. So that was really, really great. So during this couple month period of when I actually made the decision to when I had told my mum and my dad, I then started thinking, well, actually, like, why am I waiting until 25 for this? Like, what is it about 25 that I was waiting for? And I had initially made that decision because I was thinking, you know, I want to do all the things that I can't do when I have a child, etc. But then I was like, I'm a foster carer, so I tend to have children anyway. But also, I genuinely could not think of anything I was really desperate to do that I couldn't do with a little one, because I've never been someone that wanted to go like traveling on my own all over the world. I'm very lucky, I'm very spoiled. My parents have taken me on lots of holidays themselves. I genuinely like racked my brains to think of like what things could I do. There are some things I know when I'm fostering that I miss, like having the independence to just get up and do whatever you want on the day. But there was nothing like pressing that I thought I want to do this before I have children, which is why I had initially like delayed starting treatment. And so at that point I decided, well, actually, rather than wait until I'm 25, which my birthday is in July, I'm going to wait until the new year and then start the process in the new year. So I ended up making contact with my doctor, my GP, in I think late November when we got back after we'd had the trip to Gran Canaria and I'd spoken to my parents. It was late November that I ended up calling the GP. Actually, I think I might have called them before we went away on holiday. I can't remember, but I filmed the whole thing. I'm sure it was November that I made the first phone call contact with my GP to ask about becoming a solo parent, because I wanted to find out, like, was there any chance I could do this on the NHS? And I knew that the NHS system would take a lot longer, so I started a bit earlier for that. But that is when I first made contact and I first started the whole process. and the rest of it is filmed throughout the series that I will be releasing on my channel. But yes, I am pregnant and I have filmed the whole thing from the beginning until up to now, and I will continue to film as well, and they will be going out on my channel over the next few weeks. I'm not sure how often I'll be releasing them because, as I said before, I've been really unwell in this pregnancy, and it's been really difficult to make this video because even though I decided to do this, because I currently feel so ill, I don't really feel like happy and excited about the pregnancy, and so I'm kind of in that mind space of like just wanting to pretend it's kind of not happening, which is not what I expected to feel at all because I've always wanted to be a mum. And so my expectation of pregnancy has been different as well, but I think it's really important to film that and to show the different types of ways that you can feel during pregnancy, and so I think it's important that I show that side of things too. But that's why it's taken me a bit longer to announce this, because originally I was planning to sort of do this video when I was 12 weeks and I'm 14 weeks now, but I think it is time to announce it to the world now, because it's obviously going to get harder to hide, especially as I start showing. So I will do a little bit of a bump shot. I don't actually have any bump yet. I'm still really flat. I couldn't be bothered to get fully dressed to do this video because I'm just constantly knackered, so I've put a t-shirt on, but I'm in my pajama shorts. But as you can see, there's pretty much nothing there. I still fit into all my clothes. Maybe a little bit of a bump, but yeah, still very small. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're excited to join me on this journey, and I hope you're looking forward to following along with the series, my journey to solo motherhood, which I will definitely get the first episode out by the end of next week. But it's an exciting new chapter in my life, very nerve-wracking, but I hope you're all looking forward to coming along for the ride. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Do please subscribe, and I will be sure to see you soon. Bye everyone, take care.